You've poured your heart, your soul, hours of your life into a video. The content is amazing, the editing is razor sharp, but when you finally hit publish, crickets. It is one of the most soul-crushing feelings for any creator. But what if I told you the problem isn't your video at all? It's the tiny 1280 by 720 pixel front door that nobody's opening. Well, today, we're diving deep into the psychology of the click.
1.3 seconds. That is the brutally short, almost insulting amount of time you have to stop someone from scrolling right past your masterpiece. It's literally less than a blink of an eye. And in that tiny window, a viewer's brain makes a split-second decision. If you don't win that micro battle for attention, your content might as well be invisible.
But here's the really good news. The secret to blowing up your channel isn't some super complex, expensive strategy. It's understanding this one thing. The massive gap between total obscurity and going viral, it can be bridged by changing just a few pixels. It makes that huge success feel achievable because, trust me, it is. You just need to learn the code.
So how do you actually do it, right? How do you consistently win that 1.3-second war for attention? This is not about being a Photoshop wizard or having the fanciest design software. This is about hacking the human brain. We're going way beyond simple design tips today and diving straight into the cognitive science of what makes a thumbnail completely irresistible.
All right, let's start with the single most powerful weapon in your entire arsenal, the human face. Our brains are hardwired, from an evolutionary standpoint, to connect with other people. This isn't just some passing design trend. It's a neurological shortcut that goes straight to your viewer's emotions.
See, deep inside your brain, there's a little region called the fusiform face area. You can think of it like a dedicated superprocessor that's been running for thousands of years, and its only job is to recognize faces. It sees a face in a thumbnail, and bam, it immediately starts processing the expression, the emotion, all before you're even consciously aware of it. You're not just showing a picture, you're triggering a deep, primal connection.
And look, the hard data absolutely proves this. Study after study shows that simply including a clear, emotional face in your thumbnail can crank up your click-through rate, your CTR, by as much as 34%. Now that is not a small bump. That is a game-changing, channel-altering advantage.
So, here's exactly how to apply this. First, you have to use strong, easy-to-read emotions. Think shock, joy, worry. These emotions trigger something called mirror neurons in the viewer, which actually makes them feel a tiny spark of that same emotion. And second, always follow the left face rule. Put the face on the left side of the thumbnail, looking to the right. This naturally guides the viewer's eye across the image and right towards your title. It's a simple but powerful trick.
Okay, so you've grabbed their attention with a face. Awesome, but now you need to make it physically impossible for them not to click. This is where we create a kind of intellectual itch, a tension in their mind that just demands to be scratched. We are going to create a curiosity gap.
Did you feel that? That little jolt in your brain? That immediate, almost nagging need to know what's behind that blurred text? That feeling is the curiosity gap in action, and it is an incredibly powerful psychological force that we can and should use.
What you just experienced has a name. It's called the Zeigarnik Effect. It's a core psychological principle that says our brains are way better at remembering unfinished tasks than finished ones. So by presenting an incomplete idea, like that censored word, you create this open loop in the viewer's mind. And their brain absolutely craves closure, which it can only get by clicking your video.
Here's how to put this to work. Keep your text incredibly tight, 3 to 5 words max. Never tell them what's in the video. Instead, create a question that the video answers. And this is the most powerful one, leverage loss aversion. The fear of losing out on something is a way stronger motivator than the desire to gain something. So a title like The Mistake You're Making is always going to be more powerful than How to Succeed.
Okay, let's move on to our third principle, which is where this all comes together. We've hooked their primal brain with a face, we've created that intellectual tension with a question. Now we have to make sure your thumbnail visually punches through the screen using color and composition to guide the eye exactly where we want it to go.
Just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got a cluttered, confusing mess. On the right, it's clean, it's clear, it's powerful. The rule here is so simple. No more than 3 core elements. That's it. A face, maybe an object, and a few words of text. Anything more than that is just noise, and noise is what gets you scrolled right past.
And here is why that simplicity is so important. Viewers don't sit there and study thumbnails. They scan them in a very predictable Z pattern. Their eyes start at the top left, they sweep across to the right, and then they exit at the bottom right. Your job is to place your most compelling element, that emotional hook, right in that natural eye path.
So here are the non-negotiable design rules. First, your thumbnail has to pass the squint test. If you squint your eyes and can't immediately tell what it is, it's going to fail on a tiny mobile screen. Second, use high-contrast complementary colors, think orange and blue, yellow and purple, to make your subject pop off the screen. And third, be the outlier. If every other thumbnail is dark and moody, you go bright and neon. It's called the von Restorff effect. The brain is automatically drawn to whatever is different from the rest.
But here's the thing, you can do absolutely everything right, the perfect face, the perfect text, the perfect colors, and still have it all come crashing down because of one tiny, devastating mistake that almost everybody makes when they're starting out. And that mistake is forgetting about the YouTube interface itself. Never, ever, ever place your most important element or text in the bottom right corner. Why? Because that is exactly where YouTube slaps the video timestamp, completely blocking whatever you put there. You have to keep that zone clear.
Now, we've arrived at the most important part of this whole thing. We've spent all this time talking about how to get the click, but getting the click is only half the battle. If you don't understand this next concept, all of your hard work could actually backfire and end up destroying your channel.
I know it sounds completely backwards, but it is absolutely true. A high click-through rate, the very metric we've been trying to boost this whole time, can become toxic and signal to the algorithm that your channel should be buried.
This little chart explains why. Look, misleading clickbait might get you a massive 15% CTR. But if viewers click and instantly realize they've been tricked, they leave. Your average view duration absolutely craters. The algorithm sees this and concludes your video is a disappointment, so it stops showing it to people. A lower but honest 8% CTR that leads to amazing watch time is infinitely more valuable for long-term growth.
And this brings us to the real goal, the holy grail, the satisfied click. The job of the thumbnail is to make a powerful, emotional promise. But the job of the first 15 seconds of your video is to prove to that viewer that their click was a brilliant decision and that you are about to over-deliver on everything you promised.
So let's reframe this whole thing. We are not trying to create clickbait. We are aiming for ethical clickbait. It uses all the same powerful psychological triggers we've talked about, the faces, the curiosity, the color, but it does it in service of content that genuinely delivers on its promise. It's a promise followed by undeniable proof.
And that right there is the question I want to leave you with. Go look at your own thumbnails. Are they just desperately trying to get a click, or are they making an exciting promise that your video then beautifully and emphatically keeps? If you get that alignment right, you won't just get views,